Hello. Wanted to talk about movement. By nature, I'm quite not lazy. What's the other word? I don't like to move much. It's like my nervous system feels safer being still. And as someone who's had cancer, knowing that exercise and movement is a good thing. It's like life energy, moving, circulating. I know it's important to do that, but I just can't really bring myself to take up an exercise. I do Tai Chi occasionally, not Tai Chi, the other one, Qigong. I quite like that. It's meditative. It's moving the energy. I like the way it feels. But it's sedentary, that's the word I was looking for. It's quite sedentary, but it's a movement of energy, of life force. Last night I went to see a drum and bass act and couldn't stop myself from moving. And it's like when I paint and I put music on, I automatically start moving. It just happens. It's not like exercise. It doesn't feel like that. It's just connecting with the body, letting the body lead the way without force. Because I think often we try to take up exercise because we hear how good it is for us. And I think once you get into the habit of doing it, it is good. But I've never ever got to the point where I felt like, oh, this is what I really want to do today. It's like, no, I don't. I move around all day. I don't sit down, but I don't move around fast. But as a mum of 3, there's a lot to be done. And so movement is a constant. And so when we think of it in those terms, it takes the pressure off. Because when you're doing housework, there's a lot of energy expressed through that. Last night I danced for 6 miles, like 10,000 steps virtually. But I didn't even notice it. Now, if I'd have walked that all day, I'd have noticed it. But within an hour and a half, not even, I'd done the equivalent. And it felt good. And that's the thing I love about drum and bass, is no one cares. Like, everybody just dances to their own rhythm. It's not... People aren't watching. People don't care. They're lost in their own world. It's inclusive. I find it's inclusive. People of all ages dancing side by side. Just kind of celebrating life. Lost in the music. That's the great thing about music, isn't it? Is it brings something different to everybody. It's so evocative. And so if you're like me and you don't enjoy formal exercise, then just put some music on. and let your body do what it wants to do, because it wants to move. But maybe it doesn't want to move in a prescriptive way. Maybe it wants to move more creatively. I do have a muscle ache in my back. It's like the joys of growing older, is it does kind of take its toll a little bit more, but I think that is also one of the joys of getting older, is being there in that environment and knowing that my body is getting older, and so I want to enjoy what it can do when it can do it. Especially having chronic pain for so long, you kind of take those moments and enjoy them, and you don't take them for granted. I don't take them for granted. You know, when you're a kid, it feels like you've got forever. But as you get older, it's different. I used to do cartwheels up until quite recently. My friend laughs at me about it. She's like, I never did see your cartwheels. It's like, you're not going to now. Because there became a point where it became frightening to do it. It's like my body didn't really have the strength to do it. And so that became a bit embarrassing. Like, I feel a bit embarrassed saying that now, because there's nothing that we can't do as humans. You know, you see amazing people doing extreme things at all ages. Age is not a barrier, but it can become a hurdle because we believe the limitations. You know, I've just created a story myself that I felt frightened to do a cartwheel because I felt I wasn't strong enough. There were ways that I could have created the strength, and there are ways that I could still create the strength. But the truth is, I don't really want to. I can't be bothered. When I was young, like, say 11, I adored dancing. I put on dances and showed parents, and it was like an escape for me. I loved it. And it's lovely to see my daughter doing the same, and she's got more access to ways of learning, and so she's taking it further than I ever did. And it's beautiful to see her passion for it. Kind of living vicariously through my daughter when it comes to dance. But there was no restriction when I was younger. Like, it was a freedom of movement. And something changed when I was in my late 20s. Something that made dancing an embarrassment. And I don't know what that was. I can't pinpoint that moment. Whether it was someone just taking the piss out of me for dancing, saying something, you know, just flippant remark. Something landed and it made me stop dancing. And for years I've avoided it. And it's only recently, in the last few years, that I don't allow the thinking to get in the way now. If the music makes my body want to dance, then I will dance. And just kind of go with that knowing. It's not even a knowing, it's a being. Sorry, I just had to blow the charcoal off my drawing. It's a being. I went to see Ollie Murs with my daughter last year, and I felt kind of quite ashamed because his music doesn't make me want to dance at all, and yet take me to a grungy club and sling on some drum and bass, and I can't stop. Our body has its own language, its own understanding of what we need. We don't necessarily have to understand it. But it's nice to give it the freedom to express itself, to express ourselves, to just play. And that's the thing. Again, I'm going to give an age reference, but this is just from my own perspective. As I've got older, I care less. I'm just grateful. I'm grateful to have a body that moves freely. And I'm grateful to be able to go out and dance from time to time, because it makes me feel like myself. I love not thinking about what others think of me. I don't care. Sometimes it's just nice to go out and have a good time and not to just let everything go. A chance to regroup. But I think part of the lack of movement is to do with nervous system. My nervous system feels safer when I'm still. And so instead of judging myself, I honour myself that and move when I feel like it, in ways that I want to. Whether that's doing housework, moving around the house, walking around the town, going for a walk in the country, or just dancing to some drum and bass. Then that's movement, that's exercise, that's life flowing. It doesn't have to be prescriptive if you don't fit that box. And that's okay. Do it your way. And don't worry about it. Because it's the worrying and the self-judgment that creates that disturbance in the body, that stops that flow of life, that flow of energy. It's like a roadblock. And so just allowing that energy to flow brings us that life force. I think that's the key to health and happiness and longevity. It's just taking those roadblocks out of the way, because they create that disturbance in the mind, which creates that disturbance in the body, because it always comes with a feeling of like stuckness. But once we can remove that stuckness, we can relax, give ourselves an easy time, you know, give ourselves an easier time. And that's the most important thing I've learned through everything I've been through in my life, and it's only really bedding in now. It's funny when I look back at all the audiobooks I've ever read, listened to, people have been saying the same thing. Different teachers have said the same thing. For years, I've been hearing it, but not hearing it. It hasn't landed. It's like finally I'm letting myself relax. I'm letting myself off the hook. I'm not expecting from myself. When I'm meant to do something, I'll do it. There will be a calling for that, whether that's something business related that I've been putting off, or whether it's cleaning the windows. There will always be a time where I go, okay, now's the time, and it's not an effort. It's just a happening, just allowing it to happen. Just allowing that flow of life to pass through us. It's so easy to be hard on ourselves because of the expectations we've put on ourselves and we think others have put on us. But it's equally, it's as easy to start recognizing it and changing the way that we self-talk, the way that we approach life. Just keep dropping into the body. What does the body feel right now? Does it feel free, easy? Is there flow there? Is there blocks? When I say blocks, it's that tightness. Whether it's indigestion, back pain, where your body can't relax, there's something stopping you relaxing. It's like a block in the way. Listen to that. That's your wisdom. It's your body wisdom. And it's got messages. And if we listen to the messages, we learn how to live in a much healthier way. Sending you lots of love.